Hello, my sweet crafty friends. Monique with Grace and Tattered Lace. I cannot wait to show you guys this. We're going to make some rustic vintage bells using these recycled toilet paper rolls and some Easter eggs. The first thing I did was cut that little toilet paper size roll down to a little size. I didn't measure it. I just cut it, guys. Then I took a piece of paper and crinkled it up nice and good and wrapped it around. I put the Easter egg right there on top of the toilet paper holder, wrapped it around the egg, and now you can see I just put a little bit of hot glue in there to hold our paper down inside. Just kind of getting in, in all the areas I could. Now I'm going to take the hot glue and go around it and get inside the little crevices of the little folds that are in there. I'm not worried about it being messy, guys. Don't even worry about that. All right, now we're going to cut another one down. And now we're going to use the, the pointier side of the egg. This one's a little bit wider than the other side. So this one took a little bit of manipulation. Again, I took my paper, crinkled it up. Then I realized that that top was really floppy and it needed a little bit more stability. So I took some more paper and wrapped it around the top side of it. That wasn't quite enough, so I took another piece, folded it in half and wrapped it around. And then I was able to get my egg top to sit on there right on the top. Because it was still a little flimsy, I added just a little bit of hot glue in there. Now I'm going back to the other one. You can see I'm adding some hot glue all around the perimeter, all the way around, kind of midway down, kind of like about where that egg, the line of the egg is. Now, what you're not seeing here is I did stop and have to wait in between a little bit because that glue is very hot and it will drip all the way down. And I don't want it to be too drippy. So I had to kind of wait a little bit. And went ahead and did that on all three of my eggs, toilet paper thing, and that particular one. Actually, I think the other two, the ones with the pointier top, I put the hot glue all around the bottom edge of that toilet paper roll, mouthful, on the edge and on the sides of it. Once it was all dry, then I painted them all black, completely black, trying to get in all the little crevices, even turned the eggs over and got kind of up inside the little hole. Now I'm using some of the remaining part of my toilet paper roll, cutting it down. These are going to be the little tops of our bells, the little holders. I didn't measure, you guys. I just eyeballed it, whatever just looked appropriate for our little bells, and I'm just going to paint both sides black. Now I have some popsicle sticks that I'm doing the same thing on, painting both sides black. Once they are dry, I put a little piece of twine. I just put a little bit of hot glue of twine on one side of that popsicle stick, glued it down, took another piece and looped it inside and then glued the other side down. I hope that makes sense. Basically, I'm just looking to make like a little thing to attach the twine to so that I can tie it in a knot. So it has like a little string on it that it like dangles. This is going to be the little clapper inside of our bell. There you could see I'm just kind of measuring it using my scissors, cutting it down to be the right size. Okay, now we're going to use some rub and buff, sorry. This is gold rub and buff, and I got it at Hobby Lobby. You can get it at Michael's also. And then I just put some on all over that little strip that we're going to use as the little handle. Now make sure when you do this, guys, I really fought with this afterwards. I shouldn't have put that all the way around because I really battled with that hot glue. So make sure you don't put it in any areas that you plan on putting that hot glue. All right, now we're going to glue that on. Now I'm taking that hot glue and going all the way around. It is messy looking, and that's okay. That's the way I want it to be. I'm covering up like the edge of that cardboard all the way around. and then set those off to dry. And now we're going to just put that little rub and buff on there. And that one little piece was a little bit too much, so I just, like did some pouncing of some black paint over the top of it just to kind of get some black back in there. Once that hot glue was completely dry, I went back over it with black paint and give it a good coat and then let it dry. And look at this. We're going to put that rub and buff on there. You can see that edge down there where I put that hot glue. Look at that, where it's kind of like meldy looking, like this has been a hand made vintage bell. Just rubbing it all around, getting in all the areas, just getting it to be where I like it, making sure to get some on the inside as well. Now I'm taking some hot glue and I'm just squeezing a whole bunch down inside our little bell in the inside, taking that little popsicle stick with that twine on it and gluing it down there. The twine was just used to kind of give it help have something to adhere to on the inside. Okay, and oh, you guys, just look at how awesome they look. Just loving these. Okay, now I'm going to take some twine and give them something to hang from. Oh, so cute. Okay, now I have this little board. It's about 18 inches, I suppose. I'm going to cover it with this cardstock from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to use some Mod Podge. Now this wood is not sealed, and so it's very porous. So it's going to take quite a bit of Mod Podge to get this to stick to our board. Make sure that you put it on your paper, give it a good coat. I even went in and had to put some Mod Podge on the board just because it was really soaking it up. All right, once you got this attached, I did use my heat tool just to kind of set it a little bit. Then I set it in completely with my Easy Press. Friends, don't think that you have to go buy an Easy Press. You can use an iron. Just make sure you don't have your steam setting on. Now I'm going to use some wax just to kind of go over that unfinished area and the edges, give it a finished look. And then I'm going to take my little sanding tool. It was just over the edge, just a tiny bit, and got that edge off. I'm going to use that wax and just kind of go over the edges to kind of make it all blend together. And then I'm going to use some DIY liquid patina in the color of Crystal Clear to seal the top of that. Now Mod Podge would work as well, friends, but I just don't like the way Mod Podge looks. It kind of really gives lines, and I like the liquid patina better. So we're going to use that to seal it. And once you have it applied, you're going to use your heat tool and get it nice and dry. And then after I sat here and looked at this, friends, I just didn't like how that wax looked on the top. I just cut another little piece, kind of pieced it together. And then I used my wax to kind of blend it together and sealed it again with that liquid patina. Now, I know it doesn't match perfectly. It's okay because it's going to be covered, but I just didn't like how that wax was looking, and I wanted it to have that paper. Use my heat tool to get it nice and dry again. And now I'm just using some greenery. Oh, you guys, I found this garland greenery at Hobby Lobby. An amazing deal, and I just plucked all those little pieces off. Use some hot glue to attach it how I wanted it, and then I came in with my staple gun, stapled it down there to make sure that they were completely attached and they weren't going to fall off. Okay, now we're going to mess around with our bells and find out how they look on here. And I just love how they look, you guys. Okay, now I have this little piece. I can never remember what this stuff is called, you guys. It is in the Notion section at Hobby Lobby. They have one with red and they have another one with black. And I love it. I folded it over to kind of make like a loop bow, hot glued it together so that it wouldn't come apart, and then attached it, pulling it in together to make a bow with some twine. And then I did the same thing with this homespun fabric. We're going to layer those like that. And now I have some really pretty red velvet ribbon. Just going to do a basic bow and do some dovetails on the ends. I layered those all together with some hot glue in between, and now I'm just using my staple gun to attach. And isn't this gorgeous, friends? I just love it. I hope that you love it as much as I do. And if you give this a sprinkle, I'm going to pick one lucky person to get this in Happy Mail. Thanks for watching, friends. Have a great day.